Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Noughts and Crosses that's been shown on BBC, and I'm so happy to review this because I'm so passionate about Noughts and Crosses. When I was younger, the first play I ever watched was Noughts and Crosses, and that was at Hackney, I don't know if it was at Hackney Empire, it might have been. But yeah, it was the first play I ever watched, and that was by the RSC, and that really sparked me like getting interested into acting, and it was the first time I ever saw a black female as a lead basically. So I thought that was amazing. So yeah, that's a little bit of the reason why I'm so passionate about Noughts and Crosses. Blackman is amazing. The world that she's created is just fantastic. Cool. So I'm gonna go through like each episode. Yeah, each episode, basically just little things that I found that was quite interesting and how it relates to, you know, myself as a black British woman, and also just my own thoughts on the show. And I just think it's amazing. Thank you guys, everyone, the cast and the crew, for creating such a fantastic piece of work. And this is something that I believe has never been on TV, especially like Prime TV, BBC, do you know what I mean? So I'm very excited to review this lovely Noughts and Crosses. So the acting for me was just spectacular. I believed every character. The chemistry between Callum and Seffi was on point basically. The script, there were so many powerful moments in the script that I just felt like that me as a black woman living in London, who understands about, you know, the racism and, you know, just experiences basically, I just thought it was just amazing to hear. And also of like young black boys and their experiences as well. So it's like there were so many powerful moments, and I'll go through them in each episode anyway. So let's go through each episode and I'll give my opinion and my feel of everything. Episode 1, Jude, I believe Danny and a bunch of other boys who are noughts, which is white guys, they're basically out and about having a good time, and then there's obviously police that stops, you know, the gathering of a group of noughts basically, which is kind of similar to obviously a gathering of, you know, black young people in London. If there's gatherings of them, you know, people are going to be suspicious about what's going on. Are they doing stuff that's illegal? So anyway, the things that was there, Jude is basically sick of it, sick of the lifestyle of, you know, police brutality. So he basically says to the police officer about his rights and his laws basically, and I thought that was really strong. The fact that, you know, it kind of seems like he's used to being stopped and searched, and that was quite really sad for me basically, because I understand like young black guys in, you know, London, they do get stopped and such a lot, and there is police brutality. So that really did touch a nerve for me, and which I could totally understand. Not my experience, but I understand from a point of view of a young black guy. So it seems like the boys were kind of scared of their life basically. What really struck a chord is when Danny, the young boy that was, you know, trying to get Jude to come back and just have a conversation, he got hit by the police officer with one of those, I don't know what it's called, but he got hit really hard, and obviously he got hit to the floor, and then the music kind of stopped kind of thing in the background, and it was a really kind of scary and emotional moment to see a young guy just get hit, you know, just because he's actually trying to stop his other friend Jude from having fights with the police basically. And that really, because he's innocent, you know, so that really kind of hit me hard basically. The black part plaster, oh my gosh, that got me, because obviously, I mean, that's something that I don't really think about, but like a plaster that did not go with Callum's skin tone, that was really like funny in our society, that, you know, white skin is the norm, so there's going to be more stuff that's catered to white people in the UK. I'm talking about basically, I'm not talking about anywhere else. And so that was really interesting that the plaster was brown to fit a dark skinned person, because to show that that's the norm in that society in Noughts and Crosses. So that was quite interesting. The scenery is amazing. I think that what stuff I want to touch on was just like people's attire, people's clothes, I would say. it's more patterned, obviously more towards like an African kind of design, and that is kind of like the beauty norm, which is quite interesting to see. Yeah, the costumes also, when I saw the hospitals and the bedding, basically that had pattern on it too. That was quite interesting, that I found, to show that it was more representing of, you know, African culture and stuff. So I thought that was quite interesting to see that, you know. So when Callum is at Mercy Point and obviously trying to, you know, change things, change where this world is and how the world is, I thought it was quite interesting. That already the army's against them. So like the officers in the army were saying "you people" to Callum, and I was just like, wow. If a white person said that to me, "you people," I'd be like, bruh. I'd be like, bruh. But you know, that was a form of racism that I found was really hit a nerve for me. Seffi goes into the hospital with Callum after there's like a little riot outside with the police outside the hospital for Danny, and Danny's parents haven't had the chance to go inside and see how Danny is, and Seffi just walks in there where there's two black guards, cross guards, and she just walks in there and speaks a little, you know, conversation, and then allows the parents to go and see their son. For me, that was really like just sickening, because it's like the parents have been there all day and they haven't been able to see their son and see that he's okay. And then as soon as Seffi comes, a person of color, you know, goes in there, she's able to like allow them to go and see their son. And I just thought, wow, like that was an example of black privilege or cross privilege. And in this world, in our world, you know, like UK, that was kind of like, for me, that symbolized white privilege. Right, so there was obviously a scene where Seffi says, I think it's in this episode, where she says Blanca, and the boys in the first scene in the episode, they kind of make a little joke about it, but it's like when somebody else says it from a different race, the Blanca, which is kind of like the same word as the N word, it becomes like a hurtful word, obviously. So where it comes from is about obviously slavery and oppression, you know. So Seffi was apologizing and, you know, and stuff, and he obviously doesn't want her to say those words ever again. Yeah, I think overall episode 1 was amazing because it really set the tone. It really showed us what world we were living in Noughts and Crosses. There was just so much detail that I thought was amazing. I want to talk about the chemistry between Seffi and Callum. It's interesting because there's a scene where they both see each other, or Callum staring at Seffi at the party. I don't know whose party, I think it's Jasmine's, Seffi's mum's party, and there's that connection there, but then obviously when Callum cuts his hand, Seffi goes over, she sees him. There's one thing I wanted to say. I wish that we got to see them grow up together, because it would have builded up that kind of relationship and how they are friends, you know, and stuff, and that would have brought for me a bit more of a connection between the two. So yeah, that would have been great, you know, to see them growing up and then, you know, falling in love and stuff like that. But I guess they just probably didn't have all that time to bring that to life.